you ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Well, hey, I had to have you all come join me today in this little surprise lunch hour moment because it's the last day in 5th grade in North Bergen, New Jersey. The kids just were dismissed at 1 o'clock, and how am I celebrating the first day of summer? Tonight at 7:30, I'll be at the Papermill Playhouse to see production of Rent, and we have the Roger here. You know, I was a Roger once, but school, there's the school. We're here live. This is super live, Matt. The most professional. This is not like your professional podcast. This is my messy Jersey podcast. Matt, welcome.
Get out of here with that. What's going on? How are you?
It's so nice to talk to you. Congratulations.
So great to talk to you. You're also a Roger, so you get it. You get it.
How's your throat? How's your emotional life?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Are you tired of scowling and being upset for 2.5 hours a night?
Yes. Yeah, I definitely think I'm excited for you to see it because it's definitely I don't know how much you've heard, but it's definitely a different take on the show. And one of the things that I have loved most about it is that, and that it's not, at least from what I feel like I'm doing, it's not the sort of like angry Roger that we're used to seeing in every other production of Rent. I feel like this has got a lot more there's pain and there's hurt and there's sadness, and so it's not easy to do 8 times a week, but it's certainly definitely juicy to dig into.
Well, as an actor, I think that being an angry Roger, and I'm not shading other Rogers, including myself, but to find we're gonna.
I live for it. I live for the live.
Welcome to the last day of school insanity.
I love that.
Matt, it's very hard to kind of show that emotional life because it's really internal. Angry, I could just yell at you and show something, but you have to live that emotional life that whole time.
Yeah. I have. I was watching something probably on TikTok, and someone said that I think it was like Kieran Culkin talking about Succession, and he was just saying that even if you think that you can dissociate at the end of the day and go home, you're still putting your body through something. Your body is still going through those emotions, even if you're not actually, personally experiencing those. And I think you're right. I think anger is really easy to play, but I think hurt and pain and suffering is a little more nuanced, and I think so much of the text of the piece, which I'm such a rant head, like I've been obsessed with the show forever. And I never really dug into the text, and it gives us so many clues that, we know he's sick, but we don't really ever know how sick he is. And we've sort of made the choice that he is pretty ill.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to be living for it this evening. I'm really excited. You have till July 2nd. Go to papermill.org. Your cast is pretty. I know Olivia through the Jersey Pride world. I know Jordan, and this is an all-star cast stacked from top to bottom. Do you have a Rent memory? Do you remember the moment you realized or were noticed this show?
Yeah, I was obviously a big musical theater kid growing up, and I certainly had heard Seasons of Love on, I think, those Broadway Kids albums they used to release. I had those discs. But I think Rent really entered my sort of consciousness. I was in probably 8th grade, I think, when the movie came out, 7th or 8th grade. And the movie just rocked my whole world. I had a feeling that I was different, but I didn't quite know what that was. And seeing someone as sort of out and proud as Angel was, it really, it tapped into something in me that, again, I didn't even know really was there. And it sort of was the thing that catapulted and started my own journey with my own queerness. And of course I fell in love with the show, and I got the 2-disc, Broadway cast recording, and it was everything to me. And then I got to do it my senior year of high school, which was really fun. The school edition, of course, so no contact. There's a couple other straight little cuts, but I played Collins my senior year, and that was, again, just such a gift to get to do. My last musical in high school was Rent, which was such a show that was so close to me. And I really thought that it had passed me by. I thought that there really wasn't going to be another opportunity for me to do it. either because of my age or just because there wasn't a lot of productions going on. This summer, for whatever reason, everyone is doing Rent.
Yes.
We have the Muni, OSF, I think Sacramento Music Circus, Kennedy Center is about to do one. Like they're doing it they did it at Tuts, like they're doing it everywhere. And I knew that Zach was doing this production, and I'm good friends with Zach Pizer, who plays Mark. And I was pretty adamant to him. I was like, I want to be your Roger. And it just worked out that I ended up getting to do it. It's been amazing.
And Papermill, if you're in the New Jersey, New York area, this tri-state area, Papermill is like the primo place to come see musical theater. It's like top of the line, A+ across the board.
Yeah.
I've spoken at length about my personal journey with the show. I saw the show at 12 years old. It won the Tony. I'm old. It won the Tony. It was the first year. My parents took us. My brother was 8. My mother was like, oh my God, what did we take our children to? Because at that time, it was so groundbreaking and the subject matter that is being spoken about.
Right.
My first audition for a Broadway show, I was called in back on the answering machine days before YouTube to be Roger replacement in Rent. I botched the audition. I changed my major. I became a school teacher. And then I went back in to be a Mark in a production. And they said, would you take another role? And I said, sure, I'll be Squeegee Man, or I'll be in the Life Circle meeting. And they were like, we want you to be Roger. And it was a full circle moment. It was my first show back to performing.
Wow.
I came out to this show later in life. I really have a real hard connection to the show. I think it changes your life to do this show every single day. And
I totally agree. Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm going to go have some hibachi shrimp at the Benihana with my friends.
Perfect.
I'm going to bring my garlic breath right down to Millburn, New Jersey. And I'm ready.
I'm excited for you to see. I think people that are very familiar with the show, there's sort of two things. Well, it feels like there's like 3 types of people coming to see the show. There's one, which is people that are not familiar with Rent at all, which to me is absolutely insane. I'm like, it's been around for 30 years. How do you not know the show? And they are that's me. And they're quite surprised to see what this is. They know Seasons of Love, but that's probably about it. Then there are the hardcore Rent fans who are what's a good way to say it? It's like purists in the sense that they love the Rent that they saw. They think that's the only Rent that could ever be and should ever be, and they don't want to see it any other way. And then there's people like me who I'm a huge Rent fan, like I said, and I think the original production was brilliant. And in my humble opinion, I would not want anyone to try to recreate the original production when it's not the original production. It feels like it's like you're striving for something that you can't do. So in that case, I'm interested when I go see shows regionally or I go see a production that's new. I want to be exposed to different parts of the material. I want to learn something new. I want to hear different lyrics. I want to understand the story in a different way. I want to understand these characters in a different way. And I think that's what this production of Rent does. It reframes the piece in a way that I had never really thought of. But our director, Zai Ali Khan, was so when he first day of rehearsal, he told us what his sort of concept was. It was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. And again, so refreshing to not be doing, what I've been calling like Rent, which is like the sort of Broadwayed version of the show, which is no big deal, but I feel like that's what happens everywhere. And this is really not that. It is a deconstructed version of the show. It's the same music that you love. It's the same story that you love. It's the same characters, but it has a lot more weight and it has a lot more truth, I think, to sort of the time period and this crisis that was happening that, obviously we're both very much aware of, but there's a generation of queer men in particular that are gone and just disappeared. And, people were going to 12 funerals a year. I mean, it was like you would go to a party and then 2 weeks later you go and the 3 people that were there 2 weeks ago were now dead. And the reality of that, I have never felt from the piece. And that's not a comment on the piece. I think that's just sort of the way that the piece was. And Zai and all of us were really interested in digging into the truth of that and what that pandemic really was like, what that experience was like for those people that lived through it, and then the ones that didn't live through it. So it's been really like, I don't want to say fun. It's like it's not the right word, but it's been really cool for me as an actor to get to like learn about this time period in a way that I hadn't before. So many movies, I've been reading books, like I've really tried to like dig into the truth of this time period and the reality of what that was. And it's been very rewarding for me personally as a queer person to now understand more of my lineage, to understand more of where I come from and like, the people that have come before me. So I'm psyched for you to see it. That's all to say. I'm psyched for you to see it.
I'm so excited to be able to see it. This is Mike, who I'm going to see the show with now. It's even more excited to see it now because he heard this take on this for sure. Can you tell us a little bit about the process to getting the show on its feet? Was there you as a group, and it's such a collective ensemble piece. How did you all work together?
Yeah, it was, this is probably like the most collaborative process that I've ever been a part of, which is really, right. Not every process, not every production that you get to do is, a lot of times it can be the kind of thing where they're like, okay, go stand here, just get through the motions. Especially when you only have 10 days to put up a show, which is what we did. We had 10 days of rehearsal and like 3 or 4 days of tech. And normally they would just sort of remount a version of the show that they've done before or put it on, but they were very adamant. Zai, our director, Steph, our choreographer, Amanda, our music director, and all their associates were really adamant about not only creating an environment where we felt like we had a voice, but also hearing what we wanted to say. And I'm really proud of the fact that we all were a big part of putting this thing together. And I'm a problem. Steph, our choreographer, one day she called me out and she's like, you are a problem solver. Because that is like my favorite thing to do in rehearsal, is to try to think ahead and just get ahead of things in a way that like we're going to save time and energy. And it's such a gift to be able to be received in that way, and not be sort of pushed aside as an actor and be like, just do your job and show up. Like, we were part of the collaboration, and not only, staging and choreography, which again, so much of that came from just organically us being like, let's explore, let's try something, let's just do this and see what happens. And even musically too, I think like vocally, Amanda was so open to being like, do it your way. We want to learn the ink, but we want to hear your voice. I don't want you to be singing it the way, like, I was very, very clear when I went into my audition, like, I'm not going to sing it like Adam Pascal. That's not how I sound. And I don't want to do that. I want to sing it how I sound. And they obviously were so gracious and embraced that, which is, again, such a gift for someone as an actor. But even in the sort of building of this world and this new take that sort of Zai laid the foundation up for, we then got to build upon that and ask questions and say, well, especially, I really have to give credit to Zach, who plays Mark and Zai, because this production, this version is Mark's. It's Mark's memory play basically, and so Zai and Zach worked really hard and really closely to sort of comb out what his path through the story is as he's sort of remembering this year with his friends, and the two of them really worked so tirelessly, and Zach was so asked such good questions, and it's fun, again, it's fun as an actor to get to like work with people that are interested in like digging in, and they were just so adamant about us like getting to the truth of this story and these people.
I am so excited to see it. Debbie Block says her former student
Sammy Ma was amazing. I went to Boston Conservatory with her. So I love Sammy, and she got to go on for Joanne last week for 4 performances, because we're all tired. We're all doing a 3-hour rock opera is definitely not an easy task.
So but Matt, when you sing me, I'm gonna say, oh, he did it. He made it. He got through it.
Me too. Every night, I'm like, whew.
Well, if you don't know, Robbie Roselle told me yesterday, he was like, oh, you're gonna interview Matt Rodin. Matt Rodin, you're gonna love him. He's the best. He's the sweetest person. Your music, his album, if you're watching right now,
Oh yeah.
Live at home is out and about, and you can stream it and watch it right now. You can stream Bo as well. You can write it. No, I'm in the middle of something. I'm sorry. How do you? We're in the middle of the last day.
I love it. I love it. God bless you for being a teacher. Oh my God. That is literally the Lord's work. Oh my God.
It is a crazy day. Welcome to the last day of school, Matt. Well, and we are going to, and you can listen to him sing on the Bo album which Douglas Lyon is a genius, and that cast is amazing. Yes. All the things you do, follow you, and you do red carpets, and you do radio podcasts, and you just do everything. You're just the person around.
I can't stop myself.
I completely understand.
I think you get it. I think you understand.
I think I get it. Well, Debbie says give a hug to Sammy. We're going to stream your album. Everyone's streaming your album. And I listened to it today. There's an audience. You have a guitar. You're just doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, we did it. We recorded it in my apartment back in October of 2019 with like 20 of my closest friends in my apartment, which was it's very pure in the sense that that's the way I like to perform, is like me and a guitar and a group of people that I love. And I've been playing out and about in the city a little bit, and I'll be doing that once the show closes again. But yeah, I think you understand. I just am a creative generalist. I got a lot of creativity to share. And so any way I can do that, I try to put it out there.
The blessing and the curse of being an artist. I completely understand.
Mm-hmm. You get it.
I'm so excited to see you tonight. I am really excited to see you do live events in the city. We'll be following and fanning out about all things that are. You follow at Who Is Matt Rodin on Instagram and all that fun stuff, and then stream the album wherever music is heard, and get your tickets. You can get your tickets papermill.org. You only have until the 2nd.
We are almost sold out. We are we're at over like 80% capacity for the rest of the week. So it's gonna go quickly.
I checked. There are not many tickets. Every performance is limited availability. So grab your tickets. Matt, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining my messy mess.
Of course. Oh my God. Happy last day of school.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
What a way to celebrate. You know what
I mean?
I
will be celebrating with you tonight. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate you, Robert. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for watching. We look forward to get your tickets. Come see and stream Matt's album today.